Here we are, and welcome to another episode of the Friday Night Movie Podcast. Today, I am joined by my sisters, as well as the newest member of our family, Sofia Mattox, who is an incredible talent, an actor, but also possibly the funniest person we have met on the social media world in a long time. My sisters are definitely obsessed, and we are truly fortunate to have Ava with us. Ava, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Welcome.
Oh, that was such a nice intro.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. But we mean it sincerely. We think you're totally amazing, and everyone, don't worry in the audience. We will get to Ava. Just will naturally be amazing, but we will get to some more Ava stuff. But in the meantime, we always like to check in with how my sisters are doing, not how I'm doing, but with how my sisters are doing. Lily, how are you doing?
I'm good. I have like two questions I need to ask you guys. One, since I've spent now, I don't live in the United States, and I'm here visiting you, and I haven't been here in a long time. And I've been driving around back and forth to like different states, like long drives, like 3-hour drives or whatever, the last month.
I mean, different states. You've gone between Pennsylvania and Virginia,
and yeah, still and New Jersey.
Well, all the states in between Pennsylvania and Virginia.
And so, there seems to be like a ridiculous amount of cars left on the side of the road, and they seem like completely abandoned. And I have a few questions.
I will say that to me is a very typical thing of the area in which I live. Like the road between Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, I have no idea. But Allie and I are always looking on the side of the road, seeing like,
and they don't look like that bad, the cars, but they're clearly like been left there. So I have a few, and I was driving with my husband who's Spanish and also like Jewish and very he doesn't, I would say he's not wasteful. That's the polite way to say it. And we're driving and he's like, in Spain, that wouldn't last 5 minutes. Somebody's putting new tires on that thing and driving it away. He's like, how is that car just sitting there? And I was like, I don't know. Also, in what scenario are you just like, oh, I'll just leave it here? I'm not going to get it towed. I'm not going to repair it. Like, we saw one that just like had like a t-shirt out the window. So someone left their clothes in it too. But the car looked fine, but clearly was abandoned. And it's not one, it's many of them. It boggles my mind, the scenario in which you just say, oh, I'll just buy a new car.
I don't know if that's what the next move is at that point.
Is it like when my desktop gets too full and I'm like, it's easier to just buy a new computer than try to have to like,
I don't know.
No,
I don't
organize
drive,
it.
So
you don't.
Well, I don't.
Wait, do you live in
anymore?
Do you live in LA? Where do you live?
No, I live in New York,
and
I physically do not know how to drive.
That makes more sense because I thought for a moment maybe you were okay. But you don't need to drive in New York.
Yeah, but I should probably get on it,
like as a survival skill.
Just and for fun things like, Dolly Parton opened a new like, not resort but like place to eat and restaurant, and there's like a pool. And I was like, oh, it looks so cool. And it's like in Charleston or something like that. And my friend was like, road trip. And I was like, just a warning, I don't know how to drive. So like, I'm in, but if you're down to do all the driving. And then it quickly faded away into the background, like, because she doesn't want to be the only person driving. That's why my sister learned how to drive, because she was sick of people not taking her on road trips.
Oh,
that happens?
She couldn't take a shift.
She's in my family, I just have to do all the driving. And my wife is an excellent driver, but she just doesn't like to drive.
I'm not an excellent driver, and I don't do the driving, so that seems to add up over here.
I have
neither good nor do I do it.
Because, and I'll say this repeatedly on this episode, Ava, I'm obsessed with your stories on Instagram. I do need to see the whole like series of Ava going to driving school.
Oh yeah,
yes.
How is that not a
thing?
Yes,
that should be it.
I mean, if that's just like another layer of motivation for you now.
Well, so
your public needs this.
My public needs to see me fail.
Sure.
Yeah, I've been meaning. It's one of those things that's like been on the list for a very long time, and I was gonna do it. Funnily enough, in 2020, that was gonna be my birthday present to myself. But 3 days after my birthday is when the entire country shut down. So literally the 17th. My birthday's on the 14th, and New York shut down on like the 17th, 18th. So
Wow, bad timing.
bummer. So I was like, well, I
plans.
guess I'm not learning how to drive this year.
And then quickly, the other thing I wanted to ask you guys is, I know Shy gets a lot of like toilet related ads on Instagram, which we're not entirely sure why, but
I got
Not
one
sure
yesterday.
we're not,
I got
not sure
one.
why.
I got one yesterday. This one was, it was just a picture of like an Impossible Burger being cooked. So we had a hamburger being cooked, and it just says diarrhea ? Try this. This is, oh, you can't see it on my screen. There, it just says diarrhea, try this.
This is an ad, and he sends me a screenshot, but he's
What
gotten
is-
ads for toilets and all
I got
kinds of bathroom.
I also
related
got the
things.
ones I also got the ones for the like ball shaver. It was like smoothballs.com, and it was like
So I have so many questions for you, but now I'm thinking I get an ad that it's just like, do you want to meet George and Amal Clooney? And it's, have you gotten that ad? And I'm like, I'm fancy if I'm getting this ad because you're getting ball shavers. And I'm getting a chance to have lunch with George and Amal at their Lake Como house.
It's
personally.
like a charity thing.
Right.
Omaze.
So
It's
Omaze.
Omaze.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm getting these ads, and then I was like, A, I'm fancy. B, do you think I could win and have lunch with them? And
No.
then my thought process goes to, I can't win this because I don't have anything to wear. Then my thought process goes to they obviously can read my mind because I keep seeing these ads, but then they take the ad to the next level where they show an arrow pointing at two lovely looking ladies, and the arrow says, these two women have had lunch with George and Amal. And they're standing with them, and everybody's dressed super fancy, and I'm like, oh well, great, thank you. Now this just proves I can't have lunch with them. So the ad is working backwards.
I
I'm
have
curious
gotten
what you
those
guys
ads,
think.
and I get those emails because I have donated for two different things.
I want to know who you tried to meet.
Yes. Okay. Well, I donated to try and go to the premiere of A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh, nice.
And
Oprah.
meet like Oprah and Reese and all those people. And I was like,
Matt Damon, maybe? Was
pick
he?
me. No, not Matt Damon.
No.
It was
Isn't
Chris
he the dad?
Pine. He was
Chris Pine's the dad. Yeah.
Yeah, way better than Matt Damon.
Yeah.
And then the other one was to go on a hike with Noah Centineo.
Oh, damn. He's the boyfriend in all the Netflix movies.
Yeah. Which I feel like I have found.
The boyfriend.
Like he's the boyfriend. He's been the boyfriend for a while, and then this other movie came out, and I was like, "Oh, this guy is the superior Netflix boyfriend, and I want to be with him."
I wonder if that's what it says in his contract.
It does.
Like,
it says
Netflix boyfriend.
Like Netflix boyfriend is his title in his contract.
So you and I are both fancy because Becky and Jai are not being invited to.
I was going to say, I actually straddle both worlds because I get a lot of Omaze ads for like camper vans. So it's like, you want to be a nomad and not live in your house. Here's this nice van for you to win.
I have put in, the one I put in for was to try to meet Mark Hamill. That was the one I put in for. I did not win. But that's like my bucket list person I want to meet. Like, I guess I'd want him to have him on our show, but really he's just someone I want to hang out with.
Yeah, there's so many people who I'm like, you would just be, let's just have fun. Let's go have fun.
Right. Do you need new friends? Additional friends?
I could be your friend.
All right. So Ava.
Yes.
You are an actor, and you are also, your Instagram stories, I don't know when, I got to know you recently, but I don't know how long you've been doing this chronicle of your life and your daily thoughts, but they are absolutely hilarious, and they're also they are without pretense. Like, you are the most fun person to follow, with like an opposite axis in the direction of pretentiousness, because you're funny and you're honest and your stories are great. What's going on there? Where'd you come up with just talking to the camera? And you always do with the subtitles, which is very accessible.
I really appreciate, because I'm often like trying to put a tiny human to sleep, And that's
Yeah.
when I can watch, and I so appreciate that.
I don't even know. I think I just started like when people got stories. I don't know. It's just like I think I hang out a lot by myself, which is sad. But so when I have a thought, I'm like, I have to tell this to somebody. And nobody's answering their phone. So I'm just gonna put it on Instagram.
And how often do people write back? Like, I know I write back or I clap or stuff like that. But do you get people who write back who don't know you and they're like, my cat does that too?
No, I don't. I
was afraid to write back because I was like, I don't want to bother her.
Because of all the fan mail flooding in, and then
right, of course.
I mean, like,
it's one more for her to read, and then it's awkward when she doesn't write back. Yeah,
I didn't want it to be a thing.
I have like one girl. Funnily enough, I have a friend in Canada who her friend follows me because she told her about me. And she always texted me. She would text me randomly and be like, I never miss my Ava TV. She calls it Ava TV.
That's
how I feel.
But yeah, no, people, funnily enough, I kind of want people to like comment more. Like I had a couple stories the other day where I talked about how I used to like go to parties and like bring a bottle of wine to a party. Because as soon as a bottle of wine was done, I knew I was done drinking. And I have a slew of friends who were with me through that time, and none of them responded being like, I remember those days. I was a little hurt. It's fine.
But did you not share the wine? That could be why they didn't write back.
No, I would share.
Oh, okay.
I would share. But yeah, no, it was mostly just to keep me from.
So you knew that, so your comfortable zone is a bottle of wine.
Yes.
a shared bottle of wine, or
I would share like a glass or two if no one else brought alcohol, but usually in those kind of parties, people brought their own. The issue that I had, which is why I started doing this, was I went to my friend's Christmas party and everyone came and like put their like whatever they'd brought on a table, and mine ran out really fast. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, it's like free for all. Not great. Not a great time.
oh, that didn't work out well for you?
No, I ended up like falling asleep on the toilet.
Oh. I think that happened to Lily once. I was there.
Yeah, and then someone put me in a cab, and then I think I remember barfing out the cab window, which is not a great thing to do because it doesn't go down.
It just smears.
And I felt really bad about it, but I was really drunk, and I was like, "Bye." My friend literally gave me like a $20 bill and like shoved me in a cab. I was like, "Okay, thanks. I'll see you later."
It's sometimes people being generous is not a good thing with their alcohol.
Yeah, but from then on, I was like, okay, this.
Everyone learns that. Everyone learns that lesson once. The funniest time. So I'm the older brother, and so like I didn't like party with my sisters until they were much older. And I remember this is like one of my most distinct memory of partying with my sisters was Lily and I went with my parents to Israel over a winter break to visit Becky, who was living in Israel for the year. And we had this night out. I want to say it was in Eilat. It was somewhere in the south, in like a resort town with some friends. And it was just the kids out. And we like, the older brother was buying drinks and everyone was having drinks. And it was like we were sitting in like couchy lounge kind of tent vibe place. And we had a festive evening of drinking. Well, I remember the next morning, we had to like get up with our parents to drive like the length of the country back. And I remember us having to go to like a rest stop and saying I had to go to the bathroom, but I really just had to go throw up.
Remember?
But I feel like now.
Wait,
like the time.
Wait. Just quickly while we're doing it, I once had to get off the subway in New York the next morning to barf into a garbage can to then get back on the next train that was coming to make it to my destination. That was a rough time.
There's a time. I feel like there's a time in your life for this, and then
right,
that's your early 20s,
right? When you said like you're when you learn your bottle of wine limit. Sadly though, I feel like my limit now is like half a beer, and I'm Kristen Wiig on that plane in Bridesmaids.
Oh yeah. Now, I mean, how
embarrassing. I want to say I can do a bottle. I want to be on
No,
Ava's
half a
limit.
glass of wine.
A bottle of wine.
Half
and
a glass
I'm good.
of wine, I'm done.
I can't. Yeah, last night Mom gave me a half a glass of wine, and I cooked a pizza with the cardboard on it. No joke.
No.
I left that little circular cardboard under the pizza.
Yeah, I can't. As
Bad.
I've gotten older, my interest in tolerance, but we're probably older than you. Ava's so youthful. We're probably considerably older. So we've learned these lessons. Okay, Ava, the other thing I want to ask you about is, so we're Jews.
Yes.
Evidently. And one of the things we talk about on the show is we like, we get excited when there's like a Jewish show. And one of the ones that we covered on the show a lot was Hunters. And you have a Hunters story.
I do. It was my first co-star that I had ever booked. The day first of all, I got to set entirely too early because for some reason I thought Roosevelt Island was a lot farther away than it was. So I was like a good 40 minutes early. And they weren't.
But that's like isn't that a good thing though?
That's a good thing. On set, you're either early or you're late. So no such thing as on time.
Yeah. So. It was like no one else was there though, and I didn't know who to talk to like. I was like, "Hi, I'm supposed to like."
Just like you and Saul Rubinek, like at the deli table, or
no? It was like there was the crafty trucks, and then there was a bunch of other trucks, and there was like some guy. They'd picked me up from the train station. What are they called? Not roadies, roadsters or something like that. Teamsters. And they kind of dropped me off and went back to the train station, and I was kind of just like, they weren't ready for, like, my room wasn't ready yet, my little trailer. So I was like, okay, I'm just
you got a trailer. That's pretty cool.
It's a very small. Like the trailers that you see, like kind of the stars have, like, no, that's not where I'm at.
Okay.
It's usually half. I've been on another trailer where I spent 9 hours in a trailer because they weren't ready for me on set yet.
I bet it's better than the bedroom that Lily and Becky made me and my wife sleep in on our last vacation.
I don't know. Could you touch both walls with your arm?
And a toilet? So
and the toilet.
That's what
the floor was moist.
And it was very moist.
That's what my trailer was.
Okay.
I don't know if it was moist, but you could definitely touch both sides, and there's like a little bathroom in the back with non-potable water that comes out of. Don't drink the water from the sink. But yeah, it was like a good day on set. I had a 9-year-old son, and I was like, what about me looks like I would have a 9-year-old son? But that's totally fine. He like came up to my shoulder. My title was Dominican Mom.
Oh.
And I will say the guy who plays, who did I do my scene with? I can't remember his name on the show, but like
the kid?
Not one of the not no, I wish. He's so handsome. No, the younger blonde Nazi guy.
The brother?
Oh.
Johannes. I love that guy.
Maybe.
Who's like super scary looking?
He's so okay. He was
but he's kind of funny.
I don't know. He's like the one I think he's a German. I think he has an accent. No, he doesn't have an accent. Oh,
but his name is like German.
John O'Davies. John O'Davies, Tobias, the guy who played Tobias.
He like threatens the detective at the end. He's like in jail.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's super nice, so nice. And then as soon as the camera was rolling, I was like, "You're friggin' scary, dude." He was so scary.
So and a good actor.
Guy, so scary. But the sad story about this though is that my scene got cut.
I still feel like it's extremely like cool and relevant. Like it's not your fault it got cut. Like things get cut all the time.
Well, yes.
It's still like an experience you had.
Yes, exactly. Which is what I learned. So I found out the night that before I had to be on set for another co-star, for my second co-star. And I was like walking home from work at like 1 a.m. I had to be on set at 6 a.m. the next day. And I was just like sobbing on the New York City streets at 1 a.m. And I walk in, I was like, Dad, they got my scene. And then I was like, I can't even think about it. I have to take a shower and go to bed because I have to be on set tomorrow at 6 a.m. I got there. It was fine, whatever. But the guy that I worked with, I was telling him, and I was like, yeah, I'm super bummed about it. He's like, well, did you get the money? Can you put it on your resume?
Right.
Did you get the experience? I was like, yeah. He's like, then don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Because he was like, I have been in a pilot that got picked up and they recast my role.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, well, okay, you win.
That's
I'm
worse.
still going to go get Prosecco and cake after this to make myself feel better, but you win.
Like,
That
that
is-
called you to tell you. It would have been a bit. At least somebody told
So-
you.
No, I found out myself.
She
Oh, you
found out
found
because
out-
she was looking through the whole show.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said you were called your dad. Oh.
No, yeah. No, because I live
that
with
is
my dad.
pretty
So
crummy.
I
I'm
walked
sorry.
in and he was like watching basketball or something. I was like, Dad.
So Prosecco and cake is the perfect segue into today's topic, because today we're going to talk about
I did that on purpose.
a concept that Lily really has been professing, but I think other people would agree once you describe it, which is the idea of a dessert show and an appetizer show. And part of why this came up is that Lily's staying at my house and there's a lot of schedules to organize, and you spend a lot of time waiting when you're in prime TV watching mode for all of the people to arrive to either watch the thing that you watched or in the denouement afterwards, because, oh, not everyone's tired. Let's watch something, but we can't commit to something big that everyone wants to see. So Lily, take us through what is a dessert show.
So a dessert show could be a sorbet in the sense that it could be a palate cleanser. So you may have watched something heavy and you just can't go to bed, or you can't like turn it, like you need something to sort of clear your palate and watch something funny maybe, or light, or something short. And I think it could even be as much as like a music video if you needed it, like just something that, or like a Funny or Die, like a clip or something, if you really needed something quick to like help you, switch channels. But it's also could be like where you're super stuffed because you had this great, amazing dinner and you just like can't not like have one more. Like you just want to have like a little bite of dessert or a big bite of dessert. And so you're not ready yet to like, call the cab or pay the check and go home. And that's how I feel as well. And then I think it's a show that for everybody, it's different. For me, it's usually a comedy, right? And it has to be something that will make you like go to bed, like with a smile on your face. Like it's your favorite dessert kind of situation. I will say though, that for me personally, and a dessert show can be something I've never seen before. But an appetizer show while I'm waiting around for people or I'm putting on something before somebody else is coming needs to be something that I've already seen and I'm just like catching, again or whatever.
So you don't mind it ending.
I don't like to be interrupted, and I don't like having things cut off. So like I get like very frustrated. And I'm going to just off the bat say you can order wrong. Like there is like, it's possible when you like make a mistake with the ordering. And the other day I catch having an appetizer show waiting for me. And I'm like, this is wrong. You can't do that. That's not fair. He's like sitting down to just like casually watch Arrival with Amy Adams. He's never seen it before. It's like seriously like big movie. Like it's I think it's a special movie.
Also, I was very confused because I thought it was Passengers with Jennifer Lawrence.
And Chris Pratt.
Lily's like, what are you watching? I'm like, I'm watching the Jennifer
Passion.
Lawrence,
He's
Chris
like,
Pratt movie.
That movie Passengers, and I see Amy Adams like sad on the screen, and I'm like, no, you're not. Wait, this is an amazing movie. You've never seen this movie. You're getting like your children are jumping you. I was like, turn the TV off. This is wrong. Abort. You can't like. I think there is a certain
it was like I ordered like a very, very, very like intense delicacy entree by accident as my appetizer. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Or like
you
a
ordered
nice steak dinner.
A steak dinner, and that was your appetizer, and you were in a rush to eat. Like, and I was furious. So I do think there is a science to this. I appreciate that everybody can kind of like find their own.
There is,
way.
and I'm going to tell you what the correct answer is.
What?
If there's a wrong answer, the right answer is trailers. You just watch trailers.
That's a very good point.
Here's the
I
thing.
can literally watch trailers. So sometimes I sit down, I watch trailers for like a half hour, an hour. That's all I do. Perfect.
I do love a good trailer situation.
But trailers are sometimes being watched, so because you're trying to pick something, and then it can be very unsatisfying because suddenly you spend like 45 minutes watching trailers, and then you don't have time to watch whatever you decided to watch. If you're watching trailers for things in the future,
no, which is why I just watch trailers when I'm
that
waiting
aren't
for
out yet,
someone
things
to
that aren't a
come, because
possibility.
I don't want to get invested.
Or like
so it's
weird indie movies that you'll never ever find anywhere.
No, but you think that you're gonna watch, and you're like, oh my god, I'm totally gonna watch this movie, and then as soon as the trailer's over, your brain just deletes it,
You're
and
like, what was that? And then because you've moved on to the next.
you move on to the
trailer
next one,
already.
and so then I'll like watch these trailers, being like, oh my god, I'm gonna watch all these movies one day, and then one day I have the time, and I go, oh, that movie looks so depressing. I don't actually want to like sit and watch that like depressing indie movie where like the couple is like crying the whole time, and I think there was like an accident. Like that's not for me. But which is why I also love trailers, because it's like I get a little taste of it, like an appetizer. Like I'm not investing in
Well, that's like a
whole
tasting
meal.
menu, maybe.
Like eating like a whole giant bowl of risotto would be like that would be like a bit heavy on my stomach. But like a little appetizer, just like
Risotto
a few
balls.
bites of
A little
risotto, maybe put a
amuse-bouche.
little
amuse-bouche.
maybe
That's
put,
what
like,
a trailer
little-
is.
And amuse-bouche. That's a great way to put it.
So,
so
but
yeah,
you
so
know what
I
I
feel
mean
like this
when
is
you're
a
like, I'm going to totally watch
fundamental-
this one day, and then you're like, I'm
So-
never watching this.
So Shy's misstep with Arrival, which made me furious, plus the fact that we've been watching a show this week, and then
You're watching
I'm
a
just
show
like,
without me?
yes,
We definitely watched a whole season of a show without you.
What
You guys are the
show?
worst. You're so
Hacks.
annoying.
We watched Hacks.
You watched
Oh.
Hacks. I've heard that's so good.
Yeah, me
It's-
too.
It's
I
so
really
good.
want to see
liked
it. And you know what?
really
I'm going to
liked
watch it without you. I'm watching it
It's
without you. I'm
really
starting
good.
today. You're not invited.
It's really good,
Jean
but
Smart is
Love her.
amazing.
Have you guys watched Mayor of Easttown?
I have not tried
I'm a few episodes into it, but like Jean Smart, like she goes all the way back to designing women, right?
Yeah,
Like, wasn't
but her and Mayor of Easttown is just like so perfect. It just brings the perfect amount of levity to
She's
that
in
show.
that too.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
plays.
She's
Kate
all
Winslet's
over the
mom.
place these days. She's having like a resurrection. That one.
Yeah, it's a
I don't.
renaissance.
No,
The
she
Red
never
Market
went
song.
away. She was in
She was in
24.
Watchmen.
She was in Watchmen. Jean Smart has been delivering amazing acting
She was
and
on
comedy.
Frasier.
She was?
Yeah, I think she had like a reoccurring role on Frasier. I don't know why that's like the thing I
Frasier?
get stuck on.
But my point is that like those are quick episodes. You don't want to watch 4 a night. Like I don't, because I do like to like try to stretch things out. I
You
understand people
stretch
who
them
binge
too
watch.
far, Lily. You stretch them
I do
too
stretch
far.
things too far sometimes.
You need to
That is
finish.
true.
You need to.
But
there's no
but I
follow
didn't
through.
want to watch like more than 2 a night, and so we'd watch 2, and then I was like, but I'm just not ready. I need like
Like I
need to
knew you
order
were watching
dessert.
Girls 5 Eva without me, and you were watching Crazy Ex-Girlfriend without me, but you watched Hacks without me too.
Well, I
Well, no,
live in the
Hacks-
same country as you, and I was
Hacks,
watching.
Hacks was the entree this week. We watched 2 episodes a night.
I just because, and I was never invited. No one ever invited me.
You were invited, but you get cranky.
I asked
so
about you every
left.
night, and Lily
I-
said that you were going to
You
bed.
know, okay, so no one texted me. You asked Lily about my schedule.
You get very cranky.
I just want to be clear. No one texted me.
No episode started before you were asleep.
Ava, which side are you on? Pick a side. Pick a side. No, I'm
Now,
kidding.
keep in mind, we live 2 weeks. We live 2 doors away from each other. So
Yeah. And I watch
Uh,
TV very late, so I have a late dinner and a late TV watching schedule. So anyway,
okay,
the point what I'm
I'm
saying is that
I'm so curious to
after
hear what
I
Ava's answers
needed-
are, though.
I needed
where she lands.
a little extra show.
Well, I feel like I don't know if it counts as like an appetizer or dessert show, but it's more of like a through line of the situation
Mm-hmm.
where like when I don't know what to watch next, or I just resort back to watching this show from the very beginning, and then
But that's like
if
when
I-
you don't know what to order on a menu. Kind of
That's
go to
true.
your go-to
yeah. So
menu.
I'll watch this show, and then I'll find something else, but I'll keep that like I need to
Back
watch it.
burner.
So Law and Order SVU. I cannot tell you how many times I have watched
enough
that
episodes,
show
I imagine.
from the beginning,
Wait, from the beginning.
like from the first
From
episode.
the very beginning.
I mean, how
25
many
years
seasons
ago.
are there? Like 40?
There's 22 currently,
22. That's
Oh
it.
my
but they were
God.
renewed until season 24.
And Are any of the main characters still the same from when it started?
Oh yeah, Mariska Hargitay has put that in the, I don't know if I can
She's
swear,
been on
but
since
mother
season
forking
one.
bank.
She's been
And
there the
then
whole
didn't
time.
Maloney come back?
So
Tell us.
he came back. So he came back with a new show though that is also tying in. Obviously, they're doing crossover episodes with SVU, but his show is Law and Order: Organized Crime,
Oh, interesting.
which has been very good.
I loved the original Law and Order. That was definitely one of my go-to like through line shows. I didn't start from the beginning, but that's a show that I would put on all the
If
time.
we're using the food metaphor, that's like you being like, I used to love the Nathan's hot dogs out on Coney Island. Like,
But
people don't even know what that show is.
I know, isn't it amazing? The
Oh.
original Law and Order. It strikes me. Why doesn't the original Law and Order come back? It's like all these other permutations
or
are on for.
have reruns, or maybe they do. I don't really
That
watch
Peacock has a
cable.
few seasons now.
Okay.
It's apparently very expensive. That's why. It's apparently very expensive to get to do the syndication of all of the seasons. So they have a few of the seasons. Okay, so SVU, Mariska Hargitay, Ice-T.
Ice-T still there, yes.
Is Belzer still there?
No, he left. I want to say season 14. I'm watching season 14 right now, which is why I know they like just talked about how I think he's retiring soon. So season 14, 15, I think was his last season. Maloney's last season was season 12, and it's honestly one of the best seasons.
He's been gone that long from the show?
That long. It's been 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And he's still got Buns of Steel. Ayo.
And do you watch any of the other spin-offs?
No.
What's the
I've
one
never watched
What's
CI.
the one with Chris O'Donnell? I feel like there's so many.
No, that's NCIS.
O'Donnell.
That's
Oh.
NCIS.
Which is different.
Which
Different.
I don't for crime shows, I feel like Law and Order is the only one I really like. SVU specifically, like CSI, I don't really like any of the
CSI, that was another one. Okay, those are
Wait, there's
different.
And
Law and
CIS,
Order, CSI, NCIS.
NCIS. I think that's it.
And SVU
Okay.
is part of Law and Order.
Have you ever
Yeah.
seen though the Paul Scheer show? Paul Scheer
this is
created
amazing,
show.
Ava. You love it.
NTSF NTSF SD SUV.
That's so many letters.
Yeah.
Right, it's on purpose. It's a comedy. It's a takeoff. So
Okay,
it's Paul.
okay.
It's Paul Scheer and June Diane
That's not a
Raphael.
good title.
It's Paul Scheer and June Diane
Never
Raphael
remember that.
and a whole bunch of other hilarious people. And each episode is a take on a different one of these types
Oh,
of
that's
shows.
funny.
Yeah,
That
and
would
they
make a great. That would make a great dessert show. That would make a
Yeah.
Oh,
great
yeah.
dessert
Hey,
show.
that is
After
a
as-
great dessert
that is
show.
great because
I
the
feel like-
episodes are only 11 or 12 minutes. So
Right, and I
Oh.
also feel like anything that's like really a parody, like bajillion-dollar properties, that's another
Ugh,
great dessert
there's
show.
another girl.
Because you don't need to watch more than like one or two at a time. You can just cap your night off with it, like that little hit, just to like bring closure to the meal, right? Like that's
Mhm.
perfect.
Yeah, that's
Well.
a good call. And I would say Girls Five Eva, which
Wait,
is
which is also like a parody.
it's also kind of a parody in its own
Yeah.
way.
It's
Yeah,
parody,
yeah.
but I feel like it's also very true to life based on some recent experiences I've had with
You've had being famous.
Girl band.
no with making the salad for the group.
Oh yeah, that's true. The other day Becky was doing. So there's an episode of. Did you watch Girls Five Eva?
I started. I feel like I need to watch another episode because I watched the premiere and I was kind of just like,
It gets better. It definitely gets
It get-
better. And that's what
it
it's
get-
in my
it-
dessert show. I was not going to commit to watching it as an actual show, but as having it as my dessert show, I've like really gotten to love it. As like my extra thing to watch.
It's a show that I particularly love music oriented shows, and for me, I can put that show like anytime and enjoy myself, but it's like a good pre-bed kind of dessert show. There is an episode where the singers go on like a retreat together to solve their problem of writing a new song, and Busy Phillips's character gets ejected or tricked into going to make the salad because she's distracting them, and they convince her that making the salad is critical for every band, that like John and Paul, while they were writing whatever, Ringo was making the salad or something like that.
that's hilarious.
And so the other day Becky was doing a work thing, and and she left to go make the salad. And while in the 10 minutes she left to go make the salad, huge breakthrough.
Like,
so making the salad,
critical breakthrough. While I went, literally, I was like, guys, I have to go make the salad now. I come back 10 minutes later. They've solved the unsolvable problem.
Wow.
It was wild.
So making the salad is very
It's a
important,
thing, guys. It's a thing.
All right. So other than SVU, what else do you like as a good dessert show?
I'm like, I love this concept, but I also don't think I'm doing it right.
You're doing it right. Whatever you do.
No, you're doing it right. Whatever you do is right. That's.
Well, okay, so
we happen to like comedies as dessert show. You seem to like sex murder shows as your
murder shows,
but it's like these shows that are like there's so much of it, it's like old and comforting. It's been around forever. It's like that pint of ice cream that's been sitting in your freezer for like 8 months,
Yeah, that and like
back to
America.
it.
I think maybe
Reliable.
like America's Next Top Model is also on
Oh
that
my
list.
God. I secretly love that show.
Because all of the seasons are on Hulu. And again, sometimes when I'm bored and I can't figure out what to watch, I just start watching it from season 1.
That's very bold. You start from the beginning. This is a really fascinating quality you have about you.
I don't like starting things from the middle.
Really?
Well,
So
just
you've already seen. So you've already
even
seen
if I've
it, you
already
haven't-
seen it.
Really?
And then like when I used to watch Law and Order, they would do marathons on USA when I was in high school, and I had no friends and no life. That's not true. I mean, I had friends, I just didn't have a life. So I would watch it on the weekends because they would do marathons, and I could not, and I still can't really, if I miss the crime at the beginning before the credits, I can't watch the episode.
But it's always, isn't just like a jogger finding a body every time?
No. Sometimes there's really important.
Do they repeat the same after 22 seasons? Does somebody get murdered the same way?
Because like I'm really
there has
into
to be a mistake in there where they accidentally do the same case twice.
Like on Grey's Anatomy, there's like definitely more than one uterus that explodes or whatever. Eventually, there's like no more science things that can happen.
Right. We'll see. Grey's Anatomy used to be one of those shows, but it's just there's so many just like personal tragedies with the characters that you love, and I'm just like, I can't watch this plane crash again.
Right.
It will destroy me.
Exactly. Agreed.
It destroys me years later. I remember there was an episode like a couple seasons later where they flash back and like Jackson mentions that, Dr. McSteamy's on a plane somewhere. And I literally was doing my makeup to go to work, started sobbing. Because I was like, that's when he dies! Sobbing.
They killed McSteamy and McDreamy?
Both.
Yeah.
Both mix.
Both mix.
They're at the point now in the show where they're like, we have to kind of stop killing people off. It's getting weird. And so they just keep sending people to different states every time they want to write them off the show. Someone just moves across the country.
Well, they got to keep it like a bench. Like they can never bring Patrick Dempsey back except in the COVID fever dream episode.
Yep, they did. Which, I wasn't that excited about because, okay, I've watched that show multiple times also. I didn't watch it when it was popular. I started watching it in college when they were on like season 10. I don't know what season they were on. And I was like, why is everyone obsessed with this show? Because all my friends wanted to watch it on Thursday nights. So when I went home for the summer, I figured out it was on Netflix. And so I started watching it. And I was like, oh, I get it. Watched it all. And then like 2 months later, watched it all again in preparation for the newest season.
Oh my God,
and
that is serious dedication.
The second rewatch, well, this is because I didn't go back to college after that 1 year. So I had the time. But after the second rewatch, I was like, McDreamy's kind of an asshole.
Right, yeah.
And from then on, I've been like, he's a dick, and I don't care what happens to him. So when he died, I was like, okay, bye, good riddance.
I think you're not alone in that camp.
You're a douche.
We're not alone in that camp. Okay, and so Shay, keep going with
all right. Okay, so now we're gonna be like sommeliers or something, and we're gonna do some pairing. Okay.
Ooh.
So if I were to put in front of you A genre, I'm going to say a zombie movie or TV show because Lily watches a lot of Walking Dead. I like comedy zombies and I like horror comedy, but I don't like survival, like where the people are really the villains. Like I watched Night of the Living Dead last year. That was a classic, but I can't watch a whole show of it. But Lily, you watch Walking Dead. In general, a zombie show or movie, but like the apocalyptic, like sad ones, not like Zombieland.
Okay. I have the perfect one for this, actually. It's on
Oh.
my list. And I'm trying to get, so I make my dad watch the TV shows I like with me. And then he gets into them and it's totally fine. Like during the quarantine, we watched Teen Wolf, all of it. He loved it.
Are there certain shows where the experience by watching with your dad like augments it, like makes it more fun? Because we have that with our mom.
Oh, Teen Wolf was so much fun to watch with him. Also, he got just as invested in Styles as I was. So, like in the finale, when Styles shows up, we were both like, Styles! Even though I've seen it before and he never had. Anyway, we're just finishing up The 100.
Oh, I watched it with my
that?
mother-in-law.
Josh Crew liked that show.
Which one's that?
It's definitely a Josh Crew show. I watched that
It's
with my mother-in-law.
100 surviving people of the
So it's
end
like
of the world.
They send these kids. They're all kids.
To a
and they
planet.
send them down to the earth, which is supposed to be like unlivable, to see if it's livable again after all these years of
Right.
whatever,
They're like
whatever.
they were like in youth jail or something.
Yeah, because they were
Like
if you commit a crime on the ark, they kill you. They basically like blow you out into space. But since these kids are so young, they're like, well, we have to wait till you're 18 to blow you out into space. Who knows why? But anyway, so there's 7 seasons. We're on halfway through season 6 right now, but he's out of town, so I've been like not watching it. But the show I'm going to try and like slip in there next is iZombie.
Oh,
Have you seen iZombie?
no,
Which
I've
one's
not seen
that?
it.
Is that Josh Schwartz? Is that a Josh Schwartz show? No, who created that show?
I'll check for you.
No, it's someone who's created other shows that I really like. Maybe it's not him.
It's a CW show.
Ah, yeah.
So it's based off of a comic book, I think, but it's like a comedic kind of take on the zombie world. Like it gets a little serious towards the later seasons, but it definitely still keeps that element of comedy. But it's about this girl who's studying to become a heart surgeon, or she's like in her residency, and she goes to this party and gets scratched by a zombie. And so she's a zombie now. And so she quits her job as a heart surgeon and goes to work at the morgue so she can have access to brains without having to like hurt anybody.
So she's like a good zombie. So Rob Thomas, by the way, guy created Veronica Mars, created this show.
Yes. And so,
love him.
But the fun little kind of twist on it is she starts helping the main detective solve these crimes of these like dead people, because when she eats their brain, she like gets flashbacks to their last moments.
It's just kind of like a Veronica Mars.
So it's like she gets these flashbacks, and it would have been super fun as an actor because she also takes on characteristics of the dead person. So like in the first episode,
there's a lot of shows in one, Ava.
This is a great pitch for this show.
It's so good. It's so good.
So great.
And so each episode,
I'm definitely going to watch this.
You should. Yeah, so that's the next show I'm trying to convince my dad to watch, but I feel like it's a good pairing. Like if you watch a scary zombie movie, which I'm with you, I'm not really into scary zombie movies.
Also, I'm just going to put this out there, potential Omaze prize, just based on all your stories, watching shows with your dad, because he sounds amazing.
He is great. He asks too many questions sometimes, so like a lot of people do.
Are his questions like as if the people are real? Because those are my kinds of questions.
No.
Or they're just
sometimes
like trying to understand.
Sometimes it'll be like questions either about what just happened or what's going to happen based on what we just saw, and I'm like, sir, will you just watch?
Well, what our deliciously hilarious Jewish Cuban mother does is she forgets that she's seen the shows, that she watches as much or more TV than us, and so she'll be watching the shows and then she'll be like predicting things, but it's because she's seen the show
seen it already,
or she's asking us questions and she's the one who's seen the show.
Yeah. See, the thing is like a lot of the shows I show him, obviously I have seen already, and so I'm like, I have been I was trained as a kid. What are you doing, sir? Stop it. I was trained as a kid not to spoil things because, like, as a kid, I used to be the person in the movie theater who'd be like, "Oh, this part's gonna be funny." Oh, like I'd see her, and everyone would be like, "Ava, shut up." So I was like, okay, people don't like it when I do that, so let me stop. So when he asks me questions, and I'm like, "Will you just watch?"
Yeah,
I'm not gonna tell you the answer.
it's like our mom. Mm-hmm.
Right, like, do they really want the answer? Do they really want us to ruin
hurts
it?
my
for them?
heart. I'm not gonna spoil.
That's a good point.
So, but it is fun in general to watch TV.
So wait, what's your other dessert show? Is iZombie your dessert show for the 100, or is
No.
it a?
No,
She's
it's
saying
a
that
pairing.
you're gonna watch a scary zombie
Oh,
movie.
it's a pairing.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
iZombie
Okay, got it.
is like a fun way to kind of cap off a zombie.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
To have a
Now
little humor zombie in your life.
All right. Now we've talked about murder shows, so
Mhm.
I'll add SVU, but murder shows. You know, I watched the Night Stalker documentary. Lily watched it. Becky can never watch that. The Mayor of Easttown. I'm halfway through that, and then
Bear.
yeah, sure. And then The Sinner.
Ooh, The Sinner. The first season's really good. The second season was kind of I think it like slowly declined. The third season was like, what's happening here?
Right. The third.
But
That's
the first-
Lily's reaction.
The first season was excellent.
So good. Yeah.
Oh, good.
But who has pairings for that? Does anyone have any pairings for those type
So
of
I
I
shows?
don't watch
Something
those
that's-
shows.
So like something that's like so intense and murdery, like Night Stalker, I need to go so far behind, so far on the other end of the spectrum. Otherwise, I won't be able to sleep. So I need like Goldbergs. I need
Yeah.
Schitt's Creek. I
The
need
Good
like
Place.
like The Good Place, Parks and Rec. Like I need this amazing British show that's like been my dessert show all year during COVID is Friday Night Dinner. It's so funny.
Which you can watch on
the
Amazon
show.
Prime. People should watch that on Amazon Prime. It is
Like
so
Ava,
funny.
it's just so funny. And so those like that is like when you need comfort food dessert. So that's like maybe the dinner was awkward, maybe it was a bad date, maybe it was an uncomfortable
Or they
conversation with a friend.
tried to murder you and you had to make a run for
Right.
it.
You had to make a run.
And then
for
you
it.
get home and you're not even having dessert at the restaurant. You get home and you're just like, what can I pour chocolate on? Like I'm in my house. Or maybe it's a bowl of cereal, like your favorite cereal. Like this is your comfort food dessert situation. Like, is it a churro if you're living where I live?
You know what's so funny though, which is probably not a great thing, but I don't feel like I need a dessert after those shows.
That's your dessert.
Everyone was murdered. Good night.
I'm just totally fine. Like I watched the documentary "Don't F with Cats" and I was like, "This is wild," and I watched it all in like a day and a half, and then I was like, "All right, bye."
What is that? What documentary is that?
It is wackadoo. So it's on Netflix, but I think it's like a 4 or 5 part series, but about these group of people online who basically find this murderer because he starts posting videos of like animal abuse.
Oh my God.
Which is like why the documentary is called "Don't F with Cats" because it's like that's the one thing you don't do on the internet is like hurt animals.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like people who make fun of the movie Cats because that's my brother.
No. So it's like
he might commit a crime against those people.
Yeah, they're like if we don't figure this out,
like actual cats.
Yes. So they're like.
Yeah, I thought it was like about a dentist named like Moisha Katz.
Moisha Katz. No, no, it's really creepy. So they basically use like the clues in his work. They like break down the videos and like try to figure out who this guy is.
So he's just murdering cats, or is he murdering other people?
No, he murdered people.
Oh my God!
And like the police,
internet vigilantes.
Yeah, basically, and it's really friggin' nuts. It actually happened in Canada.
Was it? Oh,
Jeez. Canada together.
But yeah. So
you watched that. So not only were cats being murdered, but humans being murdered, and you were like, "I'm going to bed."
You were just like, "All right, good night."
Thankfully, they don't show the cats being murdered or the humans being murdered. They just talk about it.
And you're like, "I'm good. Night night."
You're like, "Night night."
Well, I guess the good guys win though because they find him.
Yeah, they find him eventually.
What do you watch after a murder show, Lily? You watch a lot of those shows.
Yeah, I just said. I gave you my list. Mine has
Oh,
to
like
be
the
my
Schitt's Creek.
comfort.
Got it.
It has
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be
I'm with you.
And
I get
I
it.
just
the
don't watch
Goldbergs, like,
murder shows because
They scare you.
there we go.
Becky's having dessert for dinner.
Yeah, every day.
Ever since, look, before Becky had kids, she was like shy. You have a gutter palate. You don't like anything fun. You don't like anything challenging or interesting. And now Becky's like watching The Beastmaster on Netflix.
And that Love is Blind show.
Oh no.
Hey. I'm watching Patriot now. I'm clawing my way back to status. All right? I'm watching Patriot.
Okay, let's talk about, what about epic shows? Those epic shows, the Game of Thrones, the Last Kingdom, The Witcher, Vikings.
So this is where I'll side with Ava. Those shows are like, I'm too stuffed after dinner.
There's a lot.
The food was so good, and I'm like stuffed, and I don't want anything else to mess with what I've just had. And those are the times where I just need like to get into bed or like have a tea. So I don't,
But
I won't eat more.
you forgot one on that list though.
Go ahead.
Outlander.
Oh
yeah.
Amazing.
Hello.
Did you know we're
Ava,
huge
you are
fans?
on the right podcast.
Sorry.
Did you know that we are?
I'm just
huge
saying
fans?
we're huge fans. You're on the
I did
right
not know you're
podcast.
fans. I love it.
Love it.
So just quick Outlander funny story. We had the wonderful Sofia Barkley, who's in the show. Oh, We Are Lady Parts. That's a great recommendation for you, Ava.
That's a great show.
The Rocky band one. I know it's
yeah.
been on my list. That and Rutherford Falls. I've been meaning to watch. I've heard
I
that's
don't
really
know
good.
Rutherford Falls.
It's
I'm gonna write
also
that down.
on not Paramount Plus. What is that? Peacock.
Peacock.
Okay, that's a cool recommendation. Thank you. So we had Sophia, who's in We Are Lady Parts in the show, and she came on, and she's wonderful. But she also happened to have made a movie with Jamie, with Sam Ewan, and that's coming out next year. So we can't wait to have you back on the pod. I know when that movie comes out.
How attractive.
And so like off air, like I didn't want to like ask this to when embarrass her or myself on the actual podcast. Now I can say it because she's not on the show. And so
I don't think that's how it works, Lily, but I know what you're going to say, and it's not a big deal for you to repeat it.
So Becky and I are like, okay, like just tell us. Like we were going to ask for his phone number, but we figured that's not the way to go. Like that's rude. So we were just like, we assume that he must be like an absolute like troll in real life. Like he must be rude or like annoying or something, right? Like you worked with him, like he's got to be the worst. And she's like, no, he's amazing. And we're like, oh my god,
I can
like,
feel that energy. Wait, have you watched him and Sam and Graham, like their travel show?
The travel show with the
First of all, Graham is like
Amazing.
60. I'm like, look,
he's doing something. There's something going on there. Yeah.
There's something going right in Scotland.
Dougal.
Dougal. I liked Dougal. I only watched one season of that show, but I like Dougal.
He's not that handsome in the show, but in real life, I think maybe because he's kind of a butthole in the show, but in real life, he seems like the nicest
Dougal was my
man.
favorite character.
He's a butthole.
He's a bit of a butthole, Shay.
So, so apparently in real life, he is as wonderful as we would imagine. It's a lot.
Yeah, no, that's not fair. You can't be that attractive and then also
be
nice.
I know, the nerve.
What is this world?
Yeah.
Sir.
What about you, Becky? What do you watch after Outlander? Because you'd like get together with cousin Vanessa and watch Outlander.
Well, it depends. Are we talking about? So we're talking about like a normal dessert show for me is probably going to be like a Friday night dinner or a bajillion. I said that, but if it's the scenario where everything is like complete and it feels good, and I don't like need to watch anything, but I just need like one tiny hit before bed. Honestly, I'm going to get into bed. I'm going to watch on YouTube some like ASMR cooking demonstrations. That for me is how they're, like a nice like little 10, 20-minute video, lull me into
not like
sleep.
A British baking.
No, not a British baking. There's like no talking, just some nice chopping sounds and like a good, some like a good cooking demo. Like if you don't want me to be my authentic self, I don't have to be.
That's like
then I'll go be on a different podcast. But if you want me to be me,
basically a square of chocolate before bed. That's not even a dessert.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like a square of chocolate before bed. It's like no talking, cooking demonstration, good ASMR chopping sounds, Don't need to follow a story. I know how it's going to end. They're going to complete the dish. It's going to be composed. It's going to be beautiful. You might even get to hear them take a bite of it, which is always like a good little topper if you're an ASMR person. And then like, that's it.
Throw up.
Have you seen the videos of the guy like cooking in the woods?
Yeah. I just showed one to my husband last night.
Yeah,
He was
those are
making
great.
some braised short ribs. I think that's what I.
Why is he in the woods?
He just.
I don't know, honey, but he does it all over fire. And you're just like, I can survive.
Like fire
with
cooking.
I don't know what you look like. All he shows is his hands, like chopping stuff and then like cooking it over an open flame.
Ava knows what's up.
And you're like, look, I have no desire to survive the zombie apocalypse, but maybe if I was with you,
if I was with
cook
that
for
guy,
me in the
making
woods
me dinner every night.
Okay. Now, what about after one of these like boring British period shows, The Crown, Downtown Abbey?
I think you've fallen asleep on the couch at that point.
Yeah.
No, but sometimes I fall asleep. So sometimes I fall asleep when that stuff is on, but then I wake up like wide awake and I'm like, ooh, I want to watch a show now.
And I probably need like a murder show to top me off. Just flip it around. And I'm like, what's happening? Like a true
something to get your something to get your blood pumping.
Yeah,
pumping.
Exactly.
Okay. Ooh, something with like high energy. You know, it has really great like high energy because you know his dialogue is always insane. The Newsroom.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow,
like a Sorkin, like an
Aaron Sorkin situation where they're just talking all the time.
That's a really good point. Wait, what was the other recommendation you gave us?
Which one?
She said, oh my God, just
iZombie.
No. After that.
Oh God.
You were like, I'm giving you 2 recommendations. I'll have to go back and listen.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember what I said.
You will have to actually listen to this show. Really. All right. Okay. So, all right.
My cat is sitting with the garbage.
But at least we know he's alive because
he's a trash cat. He was found on the streets of Kentucky, and now he's here. So, anyway.
And I'll just say, like, for me, I'll just add before we turn to Rex and shout-outs, for me, often a good comedy movie is like my app holder. So, like, the other, like, I've been watching 21 Jump Street with Channing Tatum, and
well, that's a great point.
In installments,
right?
Because there's no part of that movie that isn't funny. Like it doesn't even have like an excessively sad end of its second act before the funny part. Like it's basically funny all the way through. I Love You Man is kind of similar that way. Role Models is similar that way. I like Bridesmaids. No, has a real
Bridesmaids
mopey part in the
secondhand anxiety a lot of times.
Really?
Bridesmaids is great, but it has it has a very sad section in the middle.
Like
when she's trying to get the guy she gets the dirty cake or whatever.
The cake.
Yeah, that part is too much for me.
And like her whole speech at the engagement party, I was just like,
when she breaks the cookie.
When that and also the like azul bonita, we are here, and you're just like, can you just secondhand embarrassment?
The secondhand embarrassment is really intense.
That's intense. Okay. All right. Thank you, Ava, for indulging us in this indulging meal of a conversation. We've gotten so many cool recommendations in this, but now what about shoutouts and Rex? What people are watching right now? Lily, what do you recommend?
So I recommend Hacks. Becky, don't get mad.
No, thanks for recommending it. I'm so happy you watched it and you could tell me it's good, and now I'll go watch it all by myself. Thanks.
I'm recommending Special season 2.
I already recommended that like last week and the week before, so thanks for nothing. Okay.
And then season I think it's 4 of Atypical, which I started, back. Which I like that show. Yeah, that show's back. And it's the last season, I'm pretty sure. So I'm curious how they're going to wrap that up. Yeah, so that's all I've had a chance to watch this week. And Girls Five Ever, obviously, that's been my dessert show all week. Ava, you got to give it another chance.
I'm going to recommend, I don't know if we've recommended it yet on this pod, but I actually think we have, but I can't remember. I'm going to recommend the podcast Braving the Elements for all of the Avatar verse Legend of Korra fans out there. I'm listening to every episode. It's so good. Janet Varney and Dante Bosco are just such great hosts. It's like everything I wanted from that podcast, and I'm so excited for the Avatar.
It delivers on its promise.
It really
on
does,
some.
and it's just getting you so excited for the Avatarverse that they are building, that the creators of that world are building now, and all the content that is to come. So I can't, every time a new ep drops, I'm so thrilled.
Maybe Lil, you'll catch up on the greatest animated story ever told.
Or maybe not. Maybe you'll just be too busy watching Hacks without me. So we'll see.
Ava, are you an Avatar fan? They're very obsessed.
I think I've talked about this with you, Shai, before. I have not watched all of it, but I've watched some of it. And it's always been on my list to like finish. And then I just
start from the beginning. Like
I did
from the beginning.
When they first
started
all the way
4 times.
Yeah, started all the way, go all the way through, and then go through the Legend of Korra. That's. What about you, Ava? Though, what recommendations do you have, or shout outs?
Okay. I don't know if there's any fans of One Tree Hill here.
Cousin Shelly, shout out to her.
Cousin Shelly, our cousin Shelly.
But the 3 main women from the show just started a podcast.
Oh yeah.
Where they're rewatching, because they haven't watched it since like 2003, since it came out, really. So they're rewatching it from the beginning and kind of giving like behind the scenes fun tidbits about what was going on when they were like shooting it and how they feel about the episodes. And that's
very cute.
Fantastic, especially if you were a fan. It's called Drama Queens.
That is so cute. That's so
with Sophia Bush, Hillary Burton, and what's her name? Joy Lenz. Great stuff. And it gives me a chance to watch One Tree Hill again from the beginning, because of course I'm watching along. They do 1 episode a week. Anyway.
That's great.
So I recently watched this show a couple months ago called The Wilds on Amazon.
Oh, I was curious. It doesn't look like they just like put a bunch of teenagers on an island and they kill each other?
No killing.
Okay.
It
looks strange.
It's strange, but it's real good. Although
really?
my friend watched it and she was like, I don't know what you're talking about, Ava, that was trash. And I was like, but like my other friend and I are really obsessed with it. And there's like a lot of fun. If you follow the girls who are in the show, they have a lot of fun times on Instagram. And so we like to like go back and forth and be like, oh my God, did you see what Mia Healy like wrote about the show? Or like she's doing behind the scenes stuff, or they're all out partying in Australia. Like we wish we were part of the cast, because she's an actor.
So it's a real like interactive experience.
Yes. And the show is really, 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 really great. In my opinion. Some people might not believe me, but I would say give it a chance. And I think my last one is this show called Roadies. It's 1 season.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
And it's by Cameron Crowe.
Right.
Yeah, who did
I had watched it,
which is one of my.
But it wasn't renewed.
It wasn't renewed, and it kind of disappeared. Like you couldn't stream it anywhere. You couldn't buy the DVDs. You couldn't do anything. And they just recently put it back on. They just recently put it on Hulu. So if you're into the music scene, or like the music, I like a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I think it's fun to like see how things work. But so if you're into like the music behind the scenes, it's called Roadies, and it's really, really great. And of course, it has amazing music because of Cameron Crowe.
Yeah. And Luke Wilson. I was excited about that show.
It was really good.
Awesome.
That's cool. Cameron Crowe can do music. I don't know if I love everything he makes, but he does music in movies. He does music in movies as good or better than anyone.
But Almost Famous is literally one of my favorite movies. I think it's a perfect movie.
That is a great movie. That to me is his peak creation.
Also because it's like so much of what he knows. Because that's
right. Well, it's about him. Yeah.
He should never have made that Hawaii movie.
Aloha. That was him?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
What was it called?
Aloha with
called Aloha
with Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper and Emma Stone playing someone who's supposed to be half Asian or a quarter Asian. I was like, That was horrible
Like that.
casting. Where was your brain when that happened?
I deleted that movie. I didn't know
Yeah,
that
that's Cameron Crowe. He
existed.
wrote it and he directed it.
Oh God, really? Well, stick to
But he
Almost
has that
Famous and
other
Roadies,
one that's
y'all.
really bad too with
We Bought a
Orlando
Zoo.
Bloom.
Orlando
No,
Bloom.
what about the one with
Elizabethtown.
Orlando
We
Bloom
Bought a
and
Zoo. This thing.
Kirsten
Elizabethtown.
Dunst? That's another
Elizabethtown.
That's another terrible one of his.
Oh,
So he's
see,
a real.
He's had
I
some
don't know.
major hits, but some big misses.
He has to. I feel like he has to stick with what he knows, which is like music,
Yeah.
and behind the scenes of the music industry, and
For sure.
because he does that impeccably. And Roadies is a fantastic show, and I wish it got more than one season.
Is the first season end with enough of a story close that I will be happy, or will I be like super aggravated if I watch it?
I think it ends.
I don't need every
Yeah.
plot thing resolved. I just want to know if I should be aggravated.
No, I don't think you'll be aggravated. I think it'll be like a little like, oh, I wish there was more, but it's okay that there's not.
Because there's some shows where, so like Lovecraft Country just was said that there was going to be no second season. Now,
Right.
I loved that show. I think I probably liked it the most out of all of us. We did a whole episode on it. But
I liked it a lot.
yeah, we liked it. But it's not a show where I feel like it needed a second season. Like
Yeah,
it was
me neither.
good
Really
as an
wrapped up
open
with
close
that.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. I was like really surprised about the people being upset that it was canceled. I was like, really? You were expecting more from that story?
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
you could like right like in these days of franchises, you could continue every story forever. But like
some of it doesn't, like when they did a second season of Big Little Lies, that second season was not great.
No,
Right.
it's
It
not
had good
necessary.
moments, but it
Right.
as an overall season of a TV show, it was not it.
how much bigger can those little lies get if they get bigger?
Well,
if
also
they get
because
so
the book, they like basically
ended.
went off book, and they not well, and they screwed Andrea Arnold, so which is probably why it wasn't that great.
Oh,
Probably.
I don't know enough about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my recommendation is not a movie or a show, because also Lily's mentioned the stuff that we watched together this week. It is simply memes that have Vin Diesel and the word family in them that are all because Fast and the Furious 9 came out, which I saw with Allie in the theater, and Allie loved so much that she like giggled through every part of the movie. But I cannot get enough of any of these memes. The one that I love the most is it shows Amy Adams in Superman, right? In Superman Man of Steel. And she says, what does the S stand for? And then the next shot is of Superman Henry Cavill with Vin Diesel's face glued on it. And he says, Samily.
I can't. I have never seen a single Fast and Furious movie.
Well, that's
Ava,
not, that's
that's an
another series
omaze I would be in for, is watching those movies with you, because I think the Fast and the Furious 9.
What I would be into is if you just do stories of yourself as you watch it with some like live reactions.
Yeah.
That would work for me.
That's fun. I did that. I watched the new Gossip Girl premiere the other day.
And
Not great.
I saw your
That was
acting
like
with
exactly
the
that was
eyebrows.
amazing.
Yeah.
So much.
So much eyebrow acting.
I'm like, Emma Watson, where are you? Calm down. Emma Watson, love her so much. Also, a very intense eyebrow actor, and she needs to just like calm down.
You're right, she does. We've been watching a lot of Harry Potter.
Calm down. Just like
Well, we could hang out with Ava all day, so let this
Literally all
only be
day.
the first time we have you on. Ava, where can people follow you for your observations on life and your reactions to movies and shows?
Well, on all platforms, Instagram and Twitter, and on TikTok, but I don't really use my TikTok that much. That's my dessert at night. I TikTok. I scroll through the TikToks. It's all the same. It's all Ava Sofia Mattox. In case when I'm famous one day, no one has that name already.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Good, lock it
You'll
down.
get that blue check soon enough.
Well,
Don't
we'll see about
check
that. That might take a while.
And Lily, where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter, TTCHICHIK Gomez on the Twitter.
And I am at Paper BK Princess on Twitter.
And I am at Pancake and the number 4 table, Pancake 4 table on Twitter, Instagram. All of the Friday Night Movie shenanigans are at Fry Night Movie on Twitter and Instagram, or FridayNightMoviePod.com. Please join us in checking out and supporting the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, the Equal Justice Initiative, and the Asian American Journalists Association. A huge thank you to our amazing guest, Ava Sofia Mattox. Thank you for hanging out with us. It was such a joy.
Thanks for having me.
And then our theme song will kick in post-production, and that is by What Does It Eat? And then we will dance our way into the afternoon. Thank you, Ava, Lily, and Becky. Great to see you. Bye.
Ava, thank you so much.